All right, guys, let's talk about calorie counting, the dreaded calorie count. Look, you don't have to count calories for the rest of your life, but the benefit of counting calories is that it's going to make this process sustainable. It's going to take out the mental stress, believe it or not, because you're not going to be guessing. You're going to have a really good understanding that, you know what, this chocolate cupcake that I'm eating fits within my calories, and I've eaten mostly nutrient-dense foods. I can afford to eat a nice treat, maybe have a beer and a whatever. Let's say you're at a cool party, a beer and a cupcake sounds fantastic to you. If you're counting your calories and you know your body and you know how many calories you're burning in a day, you can be confident. Have that beer and that chocolate cupcake. Guinness and a chocolate cupcake sounds fantastic. Or how about a chocolate cupcake that's made with Guinness somehow? That just sounds really good. At any rate, so you're eating your awesome beer cupcake and you have so much confidence that your numbers are right and you've had mostly nutrient-dense foods for the day. No problem. You don't feel guilty. You know you're not gaining weight because as long as you're not having a surplus of calories, you're not going to gain weight. This is how you can make things sustainable, enjoy your life with a little bit of effort of counting calories. Now, the other thing about counting calories is that you really start to learn your body. You start to understand how many calories are, let's say you eat a lot of chicken breast, you start to really be able to eyeball after a while. You can eyeball chicken breast and you won't have to calorie count anymore because you'll just know how much 3 ounces is, or you'll be able to be like, oh, it's about 4 ounces of chicken breast. So, you'll be able to just figure things out and it makes it even easier. So eventually you can wean yourself off calorie counting, but you start to really know your body, how it responds to foods. You understand your activity level in relation to how much food you can eat. So if your activity level increases or decreases, you can increase or decrease your food without even really calorie counting. But as long as you have that good baseline, give it a good 6 months of just going for it. But really what you want to do too is you want to make sure you're getting, when you're cutting, when you're losing body fat, you want to make sure that you get enough protein, and you want to make sure that you don't cut your calories too much. And I recommend about a 500 calorie deficit to start with. You can dial it back to like 200 or 300. Once you feel like you're really solid on your numbers, you're hitting your numbers, and you can find that there's a correlation between the average loss over, let's say 3 weeks is a good number, and how many calories you're in your deficit. If the loss average over 3 weeks matches up with roughly with how many calories you're going for as far as the deficit, you're pretty accurate in your numbers, and you can maybe give yourself a couple hundred extra calories a day and feel comfortable that you're still losing weight and you're getting an extra, candy bar or something like that. So start out with 500 calorie deficit. This is enough to where you'll lose weight if you're accurate, about a pound a week of body fat, but not enough to where your body's going to start eating its own muscle as long as you have a good amount of protein. So, your body's not looking for those amino acids from your muscle stores. How much protein? Well, for a guy, I recommend multiplying your body weight by 0.82, and that's how many grams you want to get in a day. Hit that number. Don't worry about going over that number. If you go over that number, fine. You don't need to. I have found, and a lot of medical studies have shown actually that 0.82 times your body weight is probably a better number than 1 gram per pound, which is kind of common knowledge. 1 gram per pound is maybe a little aggressive as far as I've been able to build really solid muscle at the same rate when I was doing 1 gram per pound or more, doing 0.82 grams times my body weight in grams of protein. So good amount of protein. That's going to be the most important thing when you're counting your calories. You really want to make sure you're hitting your protein. The rest, fats, carbs, don't ever go on a low fat or low carb diet. I don't recommend it at all. There's a number of reasons why. When it comes to carbohydrates, not only carbohydrates are super good for you, they're really connected to there's a lot of medical studies showing mental health and carbohydrate intake, that there's correlation there, serotonin levels and in overall mental health and feeling good. And that's the whole point. For this to be sustainable, you have to feel good. You have to feel happy. And you're not going to be if you're on a super low carb diet, most likely. Fats are really important for hormone function. You start messing with a really low fat diet, start messing with your hormones. It throws everything off. It's not healthy. Good healthy fats are good. Some people can handle more carbs and fats, whatever, and you'll be able to play with that over time. But the most important thing is protein. Hit your number for protein. Hit your number for 500 calories below to start with, what you burn on average. How do you find what you burn on average? There's a lot of calculators online. Go Google it. There's about 2 or 3 that are real solid, and try a couple different ones and get the average number, because they're not all going to be exactly the same, and start with that number. Give it a 3-week trial. Your weight is going to go up and down. Don't worry about your weight. 4 pounds one day, a couple of days later, you're 7 pounds down. It's going to be crazy. The big mistake people make is starting to do more cardio and cutting their calories even more, because they drop 4 pounds and then they gain 5 the next week. It's going to go like that. That's fine. You're concerned with the average over 3 weeks. If the average is like 3 pounds a week over 3 weeks, you need to add more calories, do less cardio, or both, and vice versa. If it's flatlined, then you need to take the calories down a little bit, or increase your activity level a little bit, or a little bit of both. It's up to you. And it's that curve, that average, not your weight, which is going to go up and down, but the average curve. You're shooting for 1 pound per week of weight loss on average over a 3-week period. That's a good number to really see that curve. And this way you can really have a good understanding for your body and how many calories you burn on your activity level, whether you feel comfortable with more activity and that fits in your schedule, or whether you feel like you can eat a little bit, a few hundred extra calories or below what you're eating now, and that's fine and that fits for you, and you figure it out. But watching that curve over 3 weeks, understanding that if you're at a 500 calorie deficit, truly you're going to be on average after a 3-week period 1 pound per week, 3 pounds average. Again, your weight will fluctuate. Don't make the mistake of doing too much cardio or cutting your calories too much. You cut your calories too much and you're going to start losing muscle mass, and you really want that lean muscle to help burn calories just all day long and to look good and to be healthy and functional. And getting that protein in is really important as well. So count those calories, get the protein in, figure out your basal metabolic rate plus activity, so your average calories burned, that's your flat line, that's your break-even point. Go online to do that there's all types of calculators online. MyFitnessPal, it's an app made by Under Armour. It's amazing. It makes calorie counting unbelievably easy. And once you get used to the app and using it, and you get used to counting calories and how awesome it feels to be able to reward yourself and have some drinks and have some sweets and whatever, and not feel stressed and know that you're still on track, you're still losing weight, that makes things sustainable, and that's really the best way to go. Now there are more technical things as you start to get healthier and you get down to where you really want to play with things around a little bit, and I'll talk to you about that. Some things that I've tried and experimented with. One of those things is intermittent fasting, which is really interesting, and I'll share my experience of that with you. I know it sounds crazy, but it's really not that crazy. And there's all types of other stuff, which I'll do more videos on, but calorie counting, this is it. MyFitnessPal is the app. You can find your average calories burned using calculators that are available online. There's many of them. Use a couple, find that average, shoot for a 500 calorie deficit. You want to keep that lean muscle, so get that protein, 0.82 grams times your body weight, hit that number, fill in the rest with carbs and fats, play around with that ratio. Your body will respond differently. Try to give things a week or two to see how you feel. Don't just keep changing it up every couple days. And yeah, best of luck to you guys. I'll put out more videos, and send me your questions if you have any questions about things. Keep the conversation going. I'm learning stuff from you guys as you're sharing things with me, and vice versa. So this is communication. It's not me talking down to you like I'm some expert, because I'm not. I'm just a dude who's had his own experiences, and I am learning every day. And so as I learn more, I'll share more with you, and vice versa. I hope to hear more from you and learn some stuff from you guys too. All right, hope all is well. Cheers.